Welcome back, people. I am Connor from P.A.G.E, and this is my first ever coverage of my first ever Lego build, which has the honour of being the Chicago set from the architecture theme, and my first impressions. I will get to that after a beautiful time lapse, if I don't say so myself. And first off, let's go through the stats, shall we? It comes with 444 pieces, priced at £44, Great British Sterling, and has 5 bags, 1 instruction manual. The instruction manual details not only how to build the set, but also comes with details of the buildings that you are building. That is too many buildings in that sentence. Moving on, it also, as I said, comes with descriptions of the multiple buildings that you are going to create. Very detailed, very informative as well. So let's watch the time lapse, and then I shall give you my thoughts on my first impressions really of Lego and this set in general. Hope you enjoy. So as you saw from the timeline, it took me 3 hours to complete, or close to 3 hours anyway. And for a first build, I've never built a Lego set before now. I used to play with it as a child, but really I just got all the bricks out from the bag and just started moulding stuff together. It was an abomination really. Which is, I say abomination, what I created was an abomination. That whole moulding doing itself, that's one purpose of Lego. Another purpose is to follow the instructions and build a theme, a set. And this one here is my first ever set that I built. It is the Architecture Chicago set, as you already know. And my thoughts on it is, for a first build, for first experience of Lego and how it works, how the instructions are put together, how it's built, how it's designed, how it comes together so effectively and so brilliantly. I say brilliantly. Yeah, brilliantly. And that I have to give credit for, because this is my first build. This is the first piece of Lego I've ever touched properly. I like building stuff with instructions. I like following a set of rules, and the instructions are there. The instruction book is there to follow along and build it yourself. Of course, build the set and along with the instructions. And one thing with the instructions is that it's very confusing to wrap your head around. It's like reading a Japanese manga, where you have to, if you're from the Western world, UK, USA, that sort of area. Japanese manga is read from right to left, so you have to sort of take a step back, ignore what you've been taught your entire life, and sort of read it yourself, try to understand how to read it yourself. And with Lego instructions, it's the same thing. There are no words, there are only pictures. So if you can't understand what it's trying to show you, like I've done, I just flip through to a couple more pages, seeing where that first piece is now relative to the rest, and go from there. You can't grasp a instruction manual straight from the first page. That's my interpretation of it anyway. The instructions are clear as they go along, and one thing I quite like about it is that sometimes you have a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you have similar pieces, I don't know what they're called, an 8-dot piece, like a brick piece. Is it a brick piece? Like a flat surface piece with 8 dots and one with 6. There's not that much size difference in that. So they have a 1-to-1 ratio so you can get it right, which is quite nice. And the instructions are quite clear and large, so you don't have to squint your eyes. It gets clearer as you go along because you're getting used to how it's showing you how to do stuff. Some sections weren't very clear on placement, as I noticed that some pieces, it wasn't a step by step guide. It was a sort of section by section guide. So if you have a piece which is put in the same place as other pieces, like this for instance, it won't show you the first piece, it'll show you the third piece, and you just have to figure, you can see by the placement of the other two that the third one goes in a similar pattern. My thoughts on the Lego build: it took me 3 hours to build, and for the first hour I was trying to get used to stuff, I was trying to get used to placements. As you can see in the time lapse, I was doing a particular thing which I saw Adam Savage do, which was get all the pieces out of the bag and place them carefully in rows, so you're not hunting around for pieces and you don't lose them. That did work to a point, and that point was that the bags weren't very organised. So it wasn't, as I went in there with some assumptions, of course, expectations. And so I was thinking, alright, I'm going to have a bag for this one, I'm going to have a bag for this, I'm going to have the bag for a base, the tower, the red build, and so on. It wasn't like that. This piece was mumbled, this entire building set was mumbled together with the base set. I don't know if they ran out of room, which the box it comes in was pretty big for another 2-3 bags possibly. So you could have got each building, each section with its own bag. Hopefully it's changed throughout the years. This is my first Lego set, so I can't really compare it to anything else. I will say one thing is that the design, when you build it, is getting not just the exterior, but the interior as well. So if I take, spoilers here, if I manage to take this off carefully, like this, and then you attach the stuff on later, which is quite clever because this, I'm assuming this is how it's built in real life. So my other thoughts on, missing pieces. That's another thing I want to discuss. There were some missing pieces when it came to the final part. Maybe I lose them before and didn't realise that they were meant to be lost later on. But again, it's the instructions. They should show you what needs to be done, how many pieces there are, and not just make assumptions that they're going to know what they're on about, that you know that there's 2 other pieces before that third piece need to be put in place, as I said previously. But apart from that, This is a very good looking architecture set, very good looking set in general. It is so small than I expected, right? It is so small than I expected. But that means it's quite good to be put on a desk or a cabinet and not get in the way of anything, not take up the whole space. For a piece like this, it's very good to look at. It's got some, I say, quote unquote, interaction. Bridges go down, bridges go up, eventually. And so that's very good in that regard, but I've seen a lot more imagination be put into other sets, modular sets for instance, and it got a lot more detail, a lot more imagination gone into it. This has a very good detail, I've got to admit. For £45 from the Lego store, it is quite good value after you appreciate it. And it's so cleverly done. And it's so beautiful to look at that I appreciate it every time I go past it now. So here's my final thoughts. It's worth the £44. It's a very good baseline to get into Lego. Beautiful set to build. It's easy to follow along and it's a great starter kit. Thank you for watching. I have been Connor and I see you on the next page.